You know what's also unreal, Ian?
What's that?
Wata Games, the grading service.
Yes, it is.
They've been unreal for lots of different reasons. They're back in the news for a couple of things. First is, I guess, you can say it's positive, but it's too little too late, in my opinion. Wata Games released population reports for, I think, most of the consoles are now up there, including modern consoles. We first reported how they were going to do, we're going to release it for a couple of consoles. And my argument was, you have all the information, put the whole fucking database online. And their bullshit excuse was, we don't want to put out partial information, so we won't have anything. That's great. So we won't be transparent at all. Now, they have full population reports. Atari, Coleco, and television, all the old shit. 80s stuff, 90s.
So the Atari numbers: ColecoVision, Nintendo GameCube, TurboGrafx, Turbo CD, 64, NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Television, Virtual Boy, Wii U, Super Nintendo, Sega CD, Sega Dreamcast, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, Sega Master System, 32X, PS1, PS2, Xbox, and 360.
Thanks, Ian.
You're welcome.
So up to fairly modern,
7th gen.
So
surprisingly, no PlayStation 3.
Yeah, where's that stuff at? But still, there's a lot of, I guess you want to say, modern, like 360s within the past 15 years.
Yeah, it came out in 2006.
So even 10 years ago, they're still making some games still. So
yeah,
it's interesting because you can see what people are grading that's newer, that a lot of these exist, and now you can easily sort on these. You can see, like, for example, I don't know, Ian, there's 271 people that decided to grade Halo 4 for whatever reason.
People are not smart about this stuff. When you go through the line, you see all the big numbers pop up for the popular stuff.
115 Gears of Wars, 252 Halo 3s, things like that. And it does break it out by type. Like, here's the Game of the Year version. Here's the regular one. Here's the original one.
It's also funny because so many of them are 9.8 or even some 10s, because this is all so what you're doing is you've got, like, for instance, Dragon Ball Z Budokai HD collection, and not a collection anyone particularly cares about, by the way, because it doesn't have what anyone wants on it. Ooh. 27 9.8s and 3 10s.
Pulled from cases, probably
10s.
Fresh. Pulled from cases.
You never get a 10 in anything. 3 of them. Yeah, just pulled straight from cases.
And the majority are 9.8s on a lot of these, or 9.6s, obviously, because people bought these to grade them.
Right.
It's rarer to find a 9.0.
Yeah, at this point, a lot of this new stuff is, provided it was pulled from a crate, or yeah.
And yeah.
9.6s.
Yeah. So it's not surprising. Again, it shows you how much money they can make from people that are speculating. These aren't all collectors that are saying, hey, Ian, I want to get a Halo 4 and slab it. It's not a rare game. These are people that are thinking that I'm going to do this, and then in 10 years, this will be worth $1,000.
Right.
So I'm going to spend $75 each or whatever, $80, whatever it costs to get, so you get it back earlier. We'll just say $60 minimum, $50, $60 each to try to hit the lottery. These are scratch-offs. These are acrylic scratch-off tickets. You hope a couple of these hit.
Grand Theft Auto 5 has 167 graded copies. 36 of them are 9.8. I think it's hilarious that there's one that's a 7.0.
So this,
who sent that shit in?
I'm sure this happens with comics now. People do this with modern comics, Ian, thinking that they're going to hit it big when, guess what? If you thought of it, a lot of other people also thought of it. You're not alone. You're not the smart one, So it's just, I don't know. I just don't know the mindset of people that are willing to toss away this money. And I'm sure there's some people amongst this list that really wanted this, or they ended up selling to people that really wanted a sealed, I don't know, Ian, someone really wanted the sealed Minecraft Xbox 360 edition. I'm sure there's some people that actually did. I'm going to be safe to say the vast majority of these are speculators that do this.
You pointed it out to me yesterday, though. It would have been one that I checked immediately today. I just want to point out, after all the talking about Spider-Man on the Atari 2600
that we've done. 2600?
2600 Spider-Man 62 9.8s.
Woo! Spider-Man.
That's more than I assumed by probably 12.
Does
I figured there'd be about
a Wata
50.
Can.
59.8s. I mean, even at 50, these would never be worth anything.
Is it rare? Definitely not. It is worth as much as snot. Oh yeah,
And it's 30.
It is the Wata Spider-Man.
There's 34 9.6s, 62 9.8s, and then it drops precipitously. It's 9, 6, 3, 0, 2, 1, 1, all the way down to 6.5. Meaning, again, these were pulls from a case.
Absolutely. I can guarantee you this is probably one or two parties that had the majority of these.
Yep.
And they've had these for probably, they probably acquired them in the late 80s. Maybe they sold them in the 90s.
But man, I feel bad for anyone holding on to one of those sealed Spider-Man 9.8s now because, like,
I don't feel bad.
Oh, I'm just saying in general. Like,
Get in early.
Yeah.
Spend $10,000.
You are fucked on that.
Spend $10,000 and now it's worth $150. Holy shit. That's where it's justified to pay the money to grade them. If you know there's rubes out there, they're going to buy them. I don't fault anyone for selling their shit like that. Get the money from the rubes. Go for it. If you can do that. Holy shit. Especially if it's a Spider-Man. There's 235 Space Invaders, 226 Miss Pac-Mans, 185 ETs, only 2 9.8 ETs. So that's actually like, well, there's a lot of there's 10 9.6 though. So, but some of those were in acrylic sealed, so it's gonna be tougher to find. Some of those were just the glue sealed ones. A lot of Raiders, a lot of Asteroids, a lot of River Raids, a lot of them, obviously. And then, so yeah, obviously that's a nuts. Let's go to my bread and butter. Let's go to the NES ones real quick. You okay there, Ian?
Yeah, just my back. I told you this morning, my back has been miserable.
Oh, let's also look at N64 since that's the one that's funny. We'll finish with N64. NES sort by total. Of course, Ian. Super Mario 3 is the winner because that's one of the best selling games.
We can sort by total.
Yeah, on the right, Ian. Come on, Ian. It's just a list. Yeah, it's total. You can sort by game, name, or total. So yeah, 339 sealed Super Mario 3s. 339. Then you can break it down to the left bros and the right bros.
Sir, where can I sort?
Click on that little symbol next to total.
Oh, there we go.
Little arrow.
Thank you.
So, challenge set, there's 78 challenge sets. That's interesting just because like those only came with the challenge set console. 78 seal ones. So some of those bought those and never opened them up. That's super interesting. 10 9.6s, 1 9.8. That's actually interesting to me that there'd be that many. I mean, that's a good amount. That means, and again, this is just why. This doesn't include VGA. CGC's now doing it. It does include the ones that are not graded that people have in their collections or in shipping cases still. Left bros, there's 17 of them. Those were the first ones. Those are probably the only ones that you, again, the slice of a variant, like,
yeah.
205 Super Mario Brothers. But look at the different revisions. There's like 10 of them, different versions there. 186 Legend of Zeldas. Whew. Okay.
How many?
There's like several variants though still.
Okay.
But there's a lot. I'll take out the 73 Classic Series.
Sure.
That's a re-release. So there's still about 90 of them here. 164 Super Mario 2s, 154 Zelda 2s. So the point is this. These are the ones that go for the most amount of money a lot. Regardless
Super
of
Mario
variant,
3 has 15 9.8s too.
regardless of variant, these go, yeah, but the left rows is less than that, people are going to say. But the point is that regardless, these are the ones that go for the most amount of money.
Right.
Ones that they're most of. But then you go down to something like, I don't know. Let's see. What's a weird one, Ian, that we can pick out here?
Impossible Mission 2.
Well, no, there's a ton of those they don't bother to get graded. Those you can buy those almost only sealed. Mine is sealed. There's a lot of new old stock.
Okay, I guess I don't know what you mean by a weird one.
Like one that's actually rare.
Oh, sure.
Sort by total. Like there's like
Tetris Tengen. 41 of them.
I'm talking about even less. I'm talking about like, how about one there's like 5? Like how about one that like it's actually legitimately
actually rare and
legitimately
and
rare.
Rare.
Yeah.
Wow, there's only one sealed Donkey Kong Jr.
Well, that's the first one. There's only like 3 little Samsons. They've been graded.
Right.
There's only 4 loops, but no one cares about poor loops. So that's the point. It's driven by, like you said, popularity. Let's get a Super Mario Brothers. You talk about the story, talk about Nuki with Red Letter Media. Let's push the popular ones that people know about versus ones that are hard to find. There's only 5 Ninja Crusaders, for example. It's an uncommon game.
Sure.
But no one cares about it. All right, let's go to N64 since that's where all this garbage started with. N64 is obviously not shocked because once you get to that era, there's a lot more sealed games that exist.
Oh, yeah. Tons and tons.
226 Ocarina of Times. 226. 225 Gauntlet with Legends. 200 Majora's Mask. Those go for a lot. There are 183 Perfect Darks. Those are easier to find. I have one sealed. 27 9.8s. Those still go for more money. 142 Mario 64s. 132 GoldenEyes. Those always go for a lot. 127 Conqueror's Bad Fur Day. That's a little surprising. It's a little uncommon.
How many? 127?
127.
Yeah, but that makes sense. It's uncommon, but that's exactly the type of game that someone is going to grade.
Sure. But I'm just surprised there's that amount versus, that's like the number 5 in this list. Super Smash Brothers 74, Mario Kart, there's a ton, there's 95. And so it goes to show you that if these population reports had come out July of 2021, if people had some of this knowledge in terms of ratios of games of rare versus uncommon, would the speculators have spent that amount of money? No, it would have been less.
Yeah, the population reports will discourage it. That's why they weren't out.
I'm not saying that the Super Mario 64 would have only went for 1 million instead of 1.5, but maybe it only goes for 300,000 or 350 or 400. Maybe the people even with a lot of money be like, okay, I have information now at my disposal. This shit isn't rare, even in sealed format, even sometimes in condition. This isn't rare. Maybe that person would have said, okay, there's 3 9.8s at least on here. I can maybe wait and not spend 1.5 million. May I wait for the second 9.8 to come around? People did not have the information to make informed decisions.
Here's a good example, though, just kind of on what you were saying with the Conquer. Rule of Rose for the PlayStation 2 is incredibly rare, and there's 53 sealed copies, 53 sealed and graded copies of it. I think
not as rare as you think that.
Well, no, it is. But 53. My point is that once graded game collecting became a thing, these are the games that everyone wanted to get graded because they're legitimately rare and people want them. Like, so Conquer's Bad Fur Day is significantly less rare than something like this, but it makes sense to me that there's lots of them.
Lots of them that got graded.
Yes.
Not that they exist.
Lots of them that got graded.
When you saying something is like it's legitimately rare, I'm surprised there's 52 that got graded. Does that mean there's a lot more rare, graded ones, ungraded ones out there?
I'm not. That's my point. I think at this point, someone is going to see this. People know how rare and expensive this is. They probably think, okay, grade this.
Okay. I think it could swing both ways. I think some people might not care if they think they don't get enough money for it. Let me find a rare N64 game on here.
While you do that, I'll say my last point before we move on to the next portion of this topic is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, 895 sealed copies, 246, 9.8s. And then here's a weird one. You ready for this? Probably just coincidence, but very strange to me. Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City both have exactly 768 graded copies.
Conspiracy. So, right.
And the breakdown between the two of them, between their 9.8s and whatnot, is not that far off.
So between those 3 games, what is that about? That's about 2,400 games, Pat Math?
895, yeah, it's going to be about 2,500, 2,400.
That's about $200,000 in revenue to Wata for grading shit that's like worthless, by and large.
Yeah.
That shows you how they make their money on this stuff. Like they're making money on the stuff that comes in that's actually harder to find.
Sure.
But when you have someone doing 800 copies of a common ass game that's never gonna be worth that much because there's too many of them, that's their bread and butter.
Yep.
It's their bread and butter. I'm sure same with comics. I mean, all the modern comics getting graded a lot more than the silver and gold age.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's people who have like fucking entire modern runs graded and slabbed because they just buy them and slab them.
Worthless.
Slab them.
Worthless. And you can't even read them at that point with the comics. It's not just getting a backing board and a fucking sleeve.
All right.
So that's silliness enough, Ian, but it gets worse.
A fun little story came out sometime last week. Rondo of Blood. So people found a copy of Rondo of Blood, a sealed copy of Rondo of Blood, the Castlevania game for the PC Engine CD attachment that was graded by Wata, that was being sold on eBay, except for It's a PC Engine Works counterfeit.
Not a repro. I hate using the word repro. When it's trying to be a one-to-one duplicate, that's a counterfeit.
And I'm fairly certain this is, I could be wrong, but I think this is still from the era where they weren't doing anything to make that known.
Purely counterfeits.
Yeah. And the only one of the easy reasons to tell, I believe, is there's like a little plastic dimple on the edge of the case that's not on the original. Anyways, you can also tell by the color shading and the colors on the artwork. But anyways, so here you have this company that
the authority
wants to be the authority on video game collecting, that is grading and sending out bootleg copies of a game that is well known to have been bootlegged. Like, this is like Sapphire levels. Like, everyone knows that there are shitloads of Sapphire and Rondo bootlegs out there.
Because anyone could do their own CD run. It's just burning CDs. I could do a CD run of this shit. But if you have the assets, anyone can do it.
But these were also, so these are the two like big ones. So I just feel like this isn't like a counterfeit of like an unknown game or an unpopular game. This is a counterfeit bootleg of a known popular game for the system that is heavily in demand for that system at all times. There should have been specific training for, there are some games that are popular that you should really be able to just know if you really know as much about games as you say you do.
I would think that they would have grading stuff for each console to look out for.
I feel like a Dracula X comes in, like there are certain games that come in that should automatically set a flag for the person who's looking at it. Like, this is a common bootleg. Make sure you do your due diligence.
Yeah, like when I bought my Sapphire, I checked to make sure. It said authentic, but there's telltale signs on the different printing. The colors are different. Sometimes something is
It's
warped.
really on the inner circle where you can really tell if it's the right version. But yeah.
You can tell in the artwork too.
Oh, the artwork, but I mean, really the easiest thing to do is pick up the CD and look at the code on the bottom.
Now I'm interested, Ian. I want to go look at the Wata population report for, they have it under NEC TurboGrafx CD. I want to see what this says for Rondo. Let's see. Oh, it's not listed.
It would be Dracula X.
They don't have it listed under TurboGrafx. So they don't have PC Engine on here? They don't have any? No. That's not good.
Oh, weird. Yeah, no PC Engine at all.
No,
it's literally just
North America.
They're just North America.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Release all the population reports.
Can we get an anonymous or an import section? Like, what the fuck?
Oh,
all right. Anyway.
So at this point, what has Wata done? Back when Dennis Kahn would actually email me, they graded a prototype that was not a prototype. Remember? Mm-hmm. They graded a Time Walks Repro that was a unlicensed illegal product that I think they stopped doing. I think someone said they actually finally stopped doing that, not grading stuff that wasn't legal. And now we have a counterfeit item.
Don't forget, because I'm pulling it up and I couldn't remember. We have a Wata graded a Hot Slots NES Repro as a legit thing.
Another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We called them out another. Yeah. That too. That's right. So
I can't believe that popped up. It was the first thing that popped up.
What did you
2 years ago? I typed in graded Hot Slots Repro.
And
it's literally the first thing that pops up.
You remember that specifically? So
ridiculous.
I would hope that a company like Wata, who's the trainer? There's no who's the experts? But you'd have each console, Ian, what to watch out for the marquee titles. So if you're doing PC Engine, here's my binder.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my binder for Castlevania repros and counterfeits. Here's for
honestly they probably have something like that, but clearly not.
I don't think they do. Then if this shit happens,
sure.
I don't think they do. You give them a little too much credit maybe on that.
I just don't know how you look at a copy of that and not say, let me do my due diligence to make sure it's not a repro, because there are so many repros. It would be like getting a Pokemon in and just assuming at face value that it's legit.
A CD is the easiest thing to get reproduced. You find a replication plant to do it. You give them the assets, they pump it out, they give it to you in less than a week, and they seal it for you. Maybe that's why they what do they think? It's not a cartridge-based thing. And the sealing on a cartridge game is a lot harder than a CD. I don't know. Maybe they took for granted that, it's a CD, it's sealed. It's holy shit. And plus,
just laziness.
You feel bad because then a person bought it thinking it was legitimately graded, probably spent a lot of money on it, and now they're trying to sell it, and their listing got pulled down.
Yeah, someone jokingly suggested that this was a scumbag seller, but I don't feel that the seller's the scumbag. The seller, not everyone. It is Wata's in this chain, it is Wata's responsibility to have the authority and tell someone that this is legit. Once it's in that case, it should be, in a perfect world, it should be rest easy for anyone else who's buying it. And now this guy who has it and is selling it is fucked.
Yes. It's worthless. It's worth nothing. That's it. Who knows if they spent $2,000 or you know what I mean on it? They're out of the money. So it sucks. It sucks. Wata, release all your population reports still. There's zero excuse to do this. It's a fucking database. That's all it is. You have the information. You can update this information every morning. You can put on a fucking timer probably and just update the numbers every day on this stuff. It's insane. This is incomplete. Yeah, you're right. We don't have the modern consoles on. Like they're the super modern. We don't have PS3. We don't have PS4
well,
on here.
PS3 and 360 are the same era. That's why that's weird.
Oh, you're right about that.
They
PS3 is
run
not even
side
on here.
to side.
But they don't have anything the past like several years on here.
Well, that makes sense to me. I don't think you can and you should, but I don't necessarily think anyone expects a population report for stuff in progress or stuff that's recently ended. But
you're saying wait until the lifespan of the console's over before you put it up?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I think you should be able to do population reports as you go. I think people aren't thinking about that is the thing. But yes, they should be available. They have the
information. Yeah. Put the information up.
You know how many PS4 games you've sealed?
Pat's got a closet full of them.
No, I was talking to them directly, sir.
I got a bunch laying around.
You know.
I got in early.
You know.